Ladies and gentlemen, Remnant from the Ashes. This was a game that I was really excited for day one. I think everybody who was in the Absolver community, for the most part, they heard about this game and they immediately gravitated toward it. Something about saying anything is a Souls-like will attract everybody from Absolver to Bloodborne to you name it. You're going to get some kind of traction, be it Neo, be it Code Vein, whatever the case may be. If you compare it to Dark Souls, people are going to eat that up. And so Remnant was conned the Dark Souls, but with guns. And everybody ate that up. They were all over it. It was dope. And I think for a lot of people, especially people that were like me, the game was cool for a little bit. While the game was still fresh and the game still had more things for you to explore and discover, it was actually super dope. But for somebody like me also, once I beat the game, it was like it was over. I never had any reason or any drive, shall I say, to replay it. And I didn't really care so much for its procedurally generated world, because it wasn't to the extent where every single experience would be a new one. It was just like different boards that you would just get at random whenever you loaded in these worlds. So with that being said, it didn't really intrigue me too much. Now there's games like Bloodborne, Dark Souls, and you name it, Neo, the list goes on, where you can basically find everything as it is all the time in the same place over and over, nothing new going on. And I can play those games 1,000,001 times, but at the time for me, something about Remnant just didn't have the charm that it did. And so I beat it before there were any real content updates for it, and I got bored and I never revisited the game. And if you guys aren't, you should be following me on Twitch, and you guys don't know, I've been streaming with a guy named CryoJazz, and it's been like my guide, my guru for PC, and also a very close friend of mine, right? We've been just kicking it like karate, baby, over there just chilling, right? And he introduced me to Remnant all over again by telling me that it was free on Epic Games. And when I reinstalled it, he made me aware of that there was DLC and that there was another DLC coming that just came out today. And I didn't realize how much content actually got added. From a roguelike mode called survival mode, to their adventure mode, to new difficulties added. There was so much more new gear, so many new weapons, new locations, so much new things that came to the game that I did not realize was there with all this time that I've been gone. And I'm like, man, what have I been sleeping on? And what's really cool about it is a game like Remnant, you don't really ever know when there's an end unless you have everything, you know what I mean? Where it's kind of like Borderlands in the sense that unless you know you got it all because you've done all your research, all the, the backstory, the this, that, and the third, you've hit every nook and cranny. I don't even know what's all in here. I'm still finding new artifacts, still finding like new rings and stuff, still finding new guns. There's still armor I do not have that I'm seeing other people have, different melee. Dude, there's so much going on for Remnant that if you guys are not on board this game right now, I definitely think you should check it out. And even if you're an older player who's taken a break much like me and been gone for a very long time thinking that maybe there was nothing more than just a good campaign, it's worth revisiting because they've added so much more since the game has released that I was completely unaware of. If you never played the game, it's basically an ARPG. You have guns, you have a character, you have classes, you start off with your base class, you level them up as you play the game. There's a bunch of bosses, tons of content, lots of fun to be had. I think it's 3-4 player co-op, something like that. So you can definitely grab some buddies. There's a good invite system. A lot of great things going on for this game. I don't really have too many cons for the game, actually, especially now, because there's so much more that was added. Before, I would just say that, in my opinion, it was very short-lived. Like, I think it took me 2-3 days to beat the entire game. And then once I beat the game, I didn't know what else to do. I was just kind of like redoing everything all over again, but not for the right reason, if that makes any sense. It's not really a new game plus type of thing. It's just kind of like a re-roll of the world, which you can re-roll at any point, and you can basically just get a different layout for a board, which would change what items are on your board. It would change what enemies spawn on your board, just things like that, right? So versus a new game plus, instead what they added was just different difficulties, and different difficulties kind of worked in a way if you think about Borderlands, where the harder the difficulty, these enemies scale with or without you. If you decide to go into this difficulty and you weren't prepared for it, that's completely your fault. The game is going to be merciless. Right now, you guys are actually watching the mode before apocalyptic. There's 3 different modes. I think it's like there's normal, there's hard, there's something else. I think it's called nightmare. I want to say, I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But there's one more mode before apocalyptic, which is the hardest mode, and that's the one that we're playing on, is the mode before apocalyptic. So versus new game plus is just a different difficulty, and to me that's actually pretty dope. Like, I'm not even mad at it. It doesn't really bother me too much. I'm just glad that there's any kind of way to ramp up the difficulty, especially with as much as they're adding. There's a lot of really strong weapons, and the fact that it's all a choice on top of that. They're not forcing you to do anything. You can stake around on your regular difficulty if you like, if you want to keep a more casual experience. But for people who are looking for a more hardcore, more difficult, more tough time, it's there for you, right? But it definitely is a variable of your gear, because if your gear is not up to par and you go into these difficulties, it's going to be beyond punishing. It's going to be hard. You're going to take a lot of damage. You're going to output minimum damage, and if you're not strong enough, in some cases, enemies will just be immune. It gets rough, honestly. So if that's a challenge that you guys are into, and remember, you can always grab a friend, you guys should definitely pick up or revisit Remnant from the Ashes, you guys. I've been sitting down in my room for a while, just looking for another game to play. Honestly, it feels like a lot of games have gotten stale, lost their touch, or just aren't fun anymore. I feel like a lot of games are just being made just to make them. You know what I mean? Or names just being exploited just because they're like in-home names, such as Call of Duty, for example. Just names that are just very poppin', very popular, easy to gravitate to. People are just milking them for what they have left. Not a lot of good games are out anymore, and a lot of the other good games like Titanfall are just kind of dead now. It's very sad to see, but Remnant is a game that I think that you guys should get back into. The community is thriving. I'm looking at it on Twitch right now. There's like 2,000 people in the directory. A lot of people are playing it, and again, it's free right now on Epic Games, so you guys can definitely pick it up if you're on PC. And for people who are on console, it's not the same story, but if you got a few dollars just kind of laying around, then I wouldn't be against it. I don't think that'd be a bad decision that you should make. A matter of fact, you can get the complete edition of the game, I think, for $45. That's the entire game, all the DLCs, right? And all the packs, everything that the game comes with, everything. And you can get that for $45. That's not even a full price game right there. And you can be happy, in my opinion. I don't think that you'd be disappointed in the game. If anybody would like to play, I'm not hard to reach. You guys know where to find me. Just shoot me a friend request, send me a message, let me know who you are and what you're there for. I play this game on the PlayStation and PC platforms. It's been your boy Glock, man. God bless you guys. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for giving me the time of the day. And if you guys are picking up Remnant, let me know in the comment section down below what platform you're on. If you want people to play with, drop your name. And if you guys are not playing it, let me know why. Like, if there's like something that you think about this game that you disagree with, anything like that, I mean, we could definitely have a discussion about it. But as far as I'm concerned, this game is dope. Honestly, dude, it's dope. All right, you guys, y'all be safe. Peace out.